Welcome to another episode of the CGarchitect Podcast, where we dive into the journey of Wellington Franzao, the talented Brazilian artist based in Liverpool who clinched the Best Still Image Award in the 2023 3D Awards. Currently working for Somewhere, Wellington shares insights into his award-winning piece and discusses his career, the challenges of living abroad, and much more. Join us as we explore the creativity and dedication behind his success. And as usual, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's do this. Welcome, Mr. Wellington Franzao, to the CGarchitect Podcast, man. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Ricardo. That's actually, it's really good to me. Like my first podcast, so,
And
you have to stop me.
And you already show your British accent, which is quite fancy.
Well, I must say that I say, I have to say water here.
Water.
Not water, because I think they're not big fan of Americans here.
Yeah, I don't think that the British are too keen on the American accent.
No.
And you know what? Every time my son makes fun of me because of that, because every time I travel to different places, I try to mimic that place's accent because I think it's like a polite thing to do, so people can understand me better. Like because they don't have to put up with whatever accent I came up with during my life, right? Learning English in all the broken ways. So I always try to mimic the accent. So when I'm in England, I try to order water instead of water. And so
water,
a bottle of water, right? But then again, we know, or maybe our viewers don't know that, but you don't originally say water. You originally say agua, right?
Agua, yeah.
So tell us a bit about your life, because you're not British, right?
No, at all. Well, you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, with this curly hair, it's not even possible. A bit British.
Everything is possible nowadays. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm straight from Brazil, from South Brazil, from a state called Paraná, and a city called Maringá, and I originally say agua and not water.
Very nice. And what do you actually? How did you start in your career? Because now, where are you working at?
So now I am at Somewhere here in Liverpool, UK.
In Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Liverpool.
Yeah, it's nice.
Quite nice. Been to the Royal Albert Talks.
Yeah. Beatles, all these things.
Yeah, all you need is love, man. I have a Beatles, like an altar, like a shrine, actually, to the Beatles here. That's why I learned English in the first place.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm such a fan, and I just, when I was a kid, I think it was like 10 years or something, I was just crazy about the Beatles, and I was like, I can't just sing their songs without knowing what they're actually saying. So I actually taught myself English.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And that sounds clever, doesn't it? But not at all. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
No, everyone has like their own way to learn English. Yeah. I just realized that.
Yeah.
It's some people learn English. I hate people that say I learn English listen to music, watching film. I'm like, how? It's not possible for me, But yeah.
So, but then again, you started working with visualization back in Brazil. How do you start it?
Yeah, well, it's quite fun because I'm not even an actor, because we know that in your industry it's common to people that that stood actor and then they become an artist. So this is not my case, because it's quite fun. When I was finished school, and then I was like, okay, I was I was like drawing like stuff like buildings and cars, and I was like, I want to be an actor. That that looks cool. And then when I was about to get in uni, I bought a laptop, because I knew that I would be using like softwares and these things at uni. And then a friend of mine, like he like started some softwares on my laptop, and he was like, "So you're gonna use these at uni? So just like give a go, And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then I remember that was SketchUp and V-Ray, and then I was like playing. I was like, I don't know what's that, just give a go. And then I was like, I catch myself. I was like every weekend, on my free time, just like playing with that, like some bucks, so things like
That's so
playing with
dangerous.
3D. It is.
That's
It
how
is.
it all starts. Like you start having
Yeah.
fun doing it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So and then I was like, you know what? This is quite cool. I think I'm gonna talk with some architect that I must know, like, to actually understand, if that is what I want, for me. And then I realized, like, there's a lot of math, there's a lot of, things like technical, and I was really enjoying like the 3D because it was fun for me. It was really fun. And then I was like, I'm not gonna start architecture itself. Like, I'm just gonna. I actually just was playing, with SketchUp, and I was chat with some course like architecture archviz stuff, but on SketchUp and V-Ray. And then I was just playing, and then I think I see in a way that, like, I was lucky because I was living with parents, so I didn't have to work properly. But yeah, but actually I was working in a shop, like I was working with my brother, and then it was like a random shop in my city. Like, my uncles had like a shoes shop, and I was working there. But for me it was boring. I was like, oh, this is not good. It's not nice. I like when I'm doing 3D at home. So then what I did, like, I used to wake up every day, like before work. That was like 5 a.m. or something. And I was like doing a course, online course. And then before work, I was like, one day I'm going to be able to, work with this. But I didn't realize actually that this could be a proper, job. I didn't know about the archivist community, like, because back at the time we have like Facebook groups, right? Like, and then
How long ago
but I
was that?
didn't know.
Because when you say like back in the time, like it sounds like it was like 100 years ago. When was it?
That was 2019. That when I started, like.
19. Okay, so just for the record, we're in 2024. It's 5 years ago.
Now.
That long ago. All right. That's
and then I was
very
like
curious about that.
Yeah, I have like at least 5 years on this, but it's not. I still learning. It's not that much. But then I was like, but I didn't know about these communities, this archviz community. So I was just, learning and studying while I was working. And then I was like, I think I remember that I worked on this shop for a year. And then, and on my, and splitting the time, with the, doing the course in the morning before work and play with that on the weekend. And I had like a laptop. It was quite shit. It was, it wasn't that good. So there's some limitation there. And then with them working in that shop, I could have to get some money to to save money to buy a proper PC, desktop. And then with that PC, I was like, what I did, I was actually lying to my mom. But I was like, I have some clients already, so I cannot work on the shop anymore. But that was not true. I had nothing. I had like one guy that he didn't pay me till now. Like he was like, it was my first kind of freelancer kind of thing, kind of job. But I had nothing. But I used like the benefit that was live with my parents. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna give a go. And then I start like this, just playing, and then of course I think this is a track, and it's a really interesting way that I see like as when being archviz, a CG artist in this role it's very like we have few universities like in Italia, specific for this, but in most of the case, there's no degree on this. So I see that like I have no degree, but it's every day you're kind of learning. So you never stop. It's not like I spend like 4 years at uni and then now I know how to work properly with these. It's like I think it's always spread, and then yeah, I have no degree. I have nothing. But since there, I was just studying, and then I realized, Ricardo, that I was like, I was out when I was looking to those Facebook groups, the community. I was like, oh, this guy here is doing something really good. And then I was, trying to figure out the software, because like we get when you start, you get quite picky with software. What like you using? You want to know everything. And then I realized, oh, I had to actually jump to 3ds Max, because I think I'm not gonna be able to get this quality, using the software I'm using now. And then when I first tried 3ds Max, I just gave up, because I was like, it's too complicated with a lot of buttons and things and options. And then I was like, this is difficult. It's not going to be possible. And then for some reason I was like, no, I have to try again. And then you don't learn, you don't know how to use all of those things, but you know exactly what you need, and then that's it. But that's how it happened. Everything.
Very interesting. And what you were saying, that you keep learning every day. That happens with literally every profession out there. And I think that there's something. It's like we have this underdog thing. Artists have this underdog thing that we think that our profession is not the most difficult profession in the world. That doctors have it harder, or lawyers and stuff. But we are constantly learning something new, because technology never stops, right? You were like changing softwares, like this like SketchUp is no longer what I need, and so now I need to move on to Max, and then you used V-Ray and you use Corona and you're whatever. So we are constantly learning, and I think that it is pretty difficult to have a profession when you have to constantly learn new stuff. Like it is, sometimes it feels like your experience is worth nothing, because you keep learning every day. Every day there's a new tool. Like I was looking at my Instagram feed, and there's this now all those courses on Tyflow, because people are now learning Tyflow, and like, damn, I should be learning Tyflow. That's another thing I have to put on my bucket list, because like every day something new comes up. But now let me ask you, you are currently living in Liverpool, right? Not exactly in the vicinity of Maringá. No. It's a little bit farther than Curitiba, which is the capital of the state. How did you end up there?
So yeah, that's actually it's quite simple, because I when I first started working as a CG artist, that was at Elephant Skiing in 2019, right? And Henrique, the CEO, he was like, he just messaged me on Facebook, and he was like, "Hey man, are you available?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have some meetings here." I was like, I had one interview that I was doing, and then which actually was with under Alan Carr. You might know him. I think the
Yeah,
community
friend of
know
mine. Yeah.
him. Yeah. So and then I just replied, and he like, and was like, yeah, let's just talk. Yeah, why not? And then on that meeting, when that finished, we had a deal. Okay, I'm working for you now. That's it. Great, quite match, and it was quite good. And then at Elephant Skiing, I worked for 4 years at Elephant Skiing remotely from Brazil. And then during this time, I could, work with so like amazing people like that was actually, like really teach me, because when I first started at Elephant Skiing, I didn't have like experience at all. Like I did my first post production there, a proper post production, or all these things that we have to learn, and it's so many things, so it's impossible to learn everything. So, day in, day out, you're kind of learning, step by step. And for me, like the thing is people around me was really, really helpful, like, and up to teach me something that I didn't know, or be like patient with me. I used like I remember like one day I deleted the Dropbox from the company, and they're like, man, like, deleting all the files. And then this, seniors around me, people that like, used to help me a lot. And during this time, I was always doing my personal jobs, my personal work, like on the weekend or Friday night, whatever. So I didn't used to go out, like to nightclub or anything. Like it was my thing. So I used like just to stay home, like, and doing like some my own crazy stuff, like personal job, because I felt that was like needed, and I still like that. Because when you work like in a studio and in a company, you have a client, you have like to follow, and you have to be able to deliver what the client is asking for. And sometimes is not just what you like, right?
It's not your
And you
job,
have to do
right?
this.
It's
It's
somebody
a
else's
job.
job. It's a company's job.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's classical. Like the client, like, oh no, he's too dark. What about these contrasts? I cannot see the finish, the paving, the architect. So you kind of like, I learned how to deal with that. And then on the beginning, I was taking that personal, and that is a huge mistake.
Yeah.
And then I was like, at some point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this, and I put like effort on this. I'm gonna do I'm doing my best on this. But once it's delivered, and I'm gonna receive feedback, this thing, I'm just gonna make the client's life easier, and not become like a problem. And then to be able to feel that the whole, I was like, I had to do my own stuff. I want to do my dark, proper golden hour with the orange, like blue hour, dark. I always go for dark stuff. It's very cinematic, which you cannot do this every day at work. It's different. You must be commercial. So then doing this personal project, I was always posting, and I still doing this, because I like it. It's not to show. I mean, of course, if I'm posting, I want people to see that, but I post that after, like, I'm doing that on my free time. It's something that I really want to do, because I have my own ideas, and that's just it's just to keep the fire, the artist patient, and then I was posting like Facebook group, LinkedIn, Instagram, and then CGarchitect as well, Behance, all these platforms. And I become like a pattern. I was always posting all of this social media. And then at some point, I think it was like 2 years after that, I still working at elephant skin. I started to receive a lot of people, hunters on LinkedIn. These, people come, oh, what about? I like your stuff. Like, are you able to work? Are you able, like, you wanna talk? Just it's just a meeting. They always do it like that. That's what the guy did with me here. It's just a friendly talk. It's just, nothing serious. And then I was so like, no, I don't want to talk. I'm just, I like here, but I am now just doing these in my free time because I like it. And I was just refusing. I was like, no, and then at some point I was like, I think it would be nice to, to live abroad, see the world, to see how things works. And then I was receiving like some people, and then after 4 years working remotely from Brazil, I decided to move, and I received an offer from somewhere, and then it was like, yeah, I'm gonna give a go. And then I came straight from Brazil to UK, and it was my first trip, my first international travel, abroad. So it was really like, and I came straight to leave here, so it was quite crazy.
It was already a one-way trip, right? Like you're not,
well, yeah,
it's not
exactly.
like on vacation that you have this. Okay, I'm going to spend like 15 days, and I'll be back home in no time. Though, and how did it feel? I mean, for you, like it was your first time abroad, and knowing that you are supposed to not come back anytime soon, because like you wouldn't have that "I'm going home" thing because you were not going home anymore because your home's there. How was it for you personally?
I think, honestly, for me, Ricardo, was like, I wasn't in a phase in my life where I was like, I wanna just leave my, my cycle, my family, this protection kind of cycle that I have. I want to explore things, do things by myself. And I think that was like very wasn't a good moment for me. So I wanted to move already. And then, I received this offer. But Liverpool, it wasn't a city that I had in mind. So I think it was really good, because I think when you kind of, let's say you're willing to move somewhere, and you kind of like you do your research, you start to figure out, oh, actually this is not that good, and that city this is good, pros and cons. But like, I'm just going. Then I came straight, and then now the thing is, I had to deal with a lot of things, and especially like even like living by myself for the first time. So for a lot of new things, living by myself, a new country, a different language. My English, is still not good, but it was terrible like 2 years ago when I moved. So and the guys in the office, but it's just what I learned, like. Day in, day out, work with the guys, and the guys say like, sometimes the guys in the office like, man, your English actually improved. And because when I arrived, they're there, and they was like, yeah, it was shit.
At least people are honest, right?
Yeah, honest. But it's really good because you work with, in the office, we have people from Argentina, Venezuela, Italia, it's multicultural environment.
It's very diverse.
And then they have different accent, so there's no one picky with the with your accent. Is not the thing. Is not at all.
You're saying that you have a lot of people from different countries, and didn't Brexit affect it in any way? Because last time before we started recording, we were chit chatting, and I told you that I was in England like 6 or 8 months ago, and there was actually people on the streets holding billboards saying that they were against Brexit because they're having problems with workers and stuff like that. Because as I understand, a lot of people, a lot of the working force in Great Britain was actually from outside, right? They were all foreigners. So And did it affect the workforce for example, in somewhere?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, if because there's people that was there before the Brexit, so uh, they they not like they don't have to leave because they were there before. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And in my case, I came before, but was actually I think was quite. It's just you have the process through visa, all these things, but it's quite simple. It's quite possible, and that was something that for me, before move, before like leaving abroad, I was like wondering. I was like, oh, I think the visa might be impossible to get. To get like a company that's gonna be the sponsor, and then actually I ran through these, and I now I can say like it's possible. It's just you just paperwork. You just have to kind of find the company that is up to today's, and then the visa itself. It's just boring, but that's it.
But that's because you guys were doing things by the book, right? Everything was
Yeah,
according
yeah,
to the regulations and stuff like that. We see a lot of people going to work abroad, and they actually just they get a job, like they will
no, no,
serve
not the case.
tables or
Sorry.
whatever, and then they try to find their way around, but they're not
Yeah,
legal, right? That happens
yeah,
a lot in the U.S. and in Europe as well.
yeah, yeah. But you know that like UK it's very in these ways very, it can be very picky, you know. And yeah, I had to go through a lot of things, and but it was fine.
Good. And what kind of work you guys do nowadays somewhere? Like interiors? You do like whole cities? What's the bread and butter?
I think we have a bit of we had a bit of everything in a way that like actually now we there's uniform and there's somewhere.
Hmm.
So it's a umbrella. So then uniform is branding, right? So they do like, for example, Primark campaigns, this kind of thing. And then all side is the architecture side, which is mainly archviz. It's only archviz. So we kind of share things and ideas, and sometimes people from uniform like work with us, bringing ideas in a project. And even for V-Ray, we had something we share the side. And then on the archviz side of the office, we there's a bit of everything like competitions, and then there's it real estate, interiors, master plan, exteriors, there animation, film itself, you know. So it's quite complete in a way that we always have the branding side there to help when it's needed. And then I was like, yeah, I was saying like joking that like all side is the nerdy one. And then like the other side is kind of like more fun in a way, but we have fun as well.
Awesome. And let's just go back a little, and when you were talking about the personal works that you do, your personal
Mhm.
projects, your entry to the 2023 3D Awards was one of them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about it? How you came up with the piece and
I think you might get disappointed, but that was
that's
that. I
no
think
way to
that.
start to describe anything, right? You're like managing expectations.
Yeah, exactly. But that was like the CG architect for me. The CG award uh, for me it was a dream, because I watch all the content like on YouTube, because you remember that it used to be at the 2 days, like you know to have the event, and showing showing up the people that give the trophy itself, the ceremony,
The
everything.
ceremony, yeah.
So I watched everything. I was like, oh, one day I wish to be there. That would be so cool. And then I think I try. No, that was my first try. Yeah.
Just like that.
No, not
Like
just like that.
and then you were like, somewhere, like, oh, I'm going to, I'm going to enter this thing. I mean,
Yeah.
why not?
No, but to be fair, we all know that like in competitions, you need some lucky, because there's so many people judging. It's very, it's you cannot. That's what I realize. I can understand what makes like this person like win the competition. So was quite I of course I deserve that, but I feel like, okay, there's a hint of lucky on this, and then with the proper image that I submit, that was like a London, like a full CGI London here shot, like golden hour, very dramatic, very Blade Runner kind of thing. It's what we like to do, like when you're not working for a client, right? It's very it's very strong and cinematic. And then I remember was quite intense. Like I was, because you can. I remember I could submit like five different images, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just gonna pick different things, because perhaps I mean different a lot of different people is gonna be judging this, so you never know what they like, what is gonna catch their attention. So I submit like 5 different images. Like I think one of them was like a shot that I did like in Italy, like very like blue hour, very cinematic as well, but very like kind of cute, very like kind of like Instagram kind of image. And then the image that I actually won was this one, the London one. That was the last one. So I submit all these 4, and then the last one was like, no, I have to like to really came up with something that, because it was the last option, and I was really like trying to get different styles. And then I remember because I think the guys from the office, they bought the mirror book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I think in that day, I just bought the book from the office, and I went to the library after work. And then it wasn't like I wasn't. It's not a common thing for me, but I was quite inspired that day. I was like, okay, I gotta just, because I have to to get something that people like. And I was like, what people like? I don't know. And then I was like, okay, I think I like aero shot. I like when I see the context itself, a lot of context in an image. Because we all love like a hero shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a vignette is quite nice, but working with external shot, and these are the like I was very at Elephant Skin when I started. I was basically like mainly like work with external shot, because I really like to kind of understand the environment, understand it, and what happened there, and then to came out with, because when you work with external shot, you are in different part of the world, so you have to, and in location, so you have to kind of connect everything, the elements. So then I was like, okay, external is my thing. I think I'm gonna just go for this. And then I was reading the book, and then I saw a few things, but I didn't use like a proper reference for the shot. I was reading the book, take a look at some images, some nice stuff they have there. And then it's this that I like to do, is like I'm using a reference, but I try to not actually be icky, not like very serious with that, because I want to get my own my own light, my own mood. And sometimes it's shit, but it sometimes works, because we all need reference. That's just true. And then I was reading the book at library. I was like, all right, just gonna get home and do this. It was quite inspiring. I don't know what happened that day.
It's like,
That was like, yeah, that was like a Wednesday, during the week.
that
You're
explains
tired.
it. It was a Wednesday,
Yeah,
right? It's like,
yeah, no, you're tired. You just want to go home. And then I went home, and then I think I spent like 2 hours from the beginning to the from scratch, work on that shot. So the Photoshop was quite silly, but absolutely silly. It was like 2, 3 things, because when you have something like a good base from the frame buffer, from the render itself, it's different. You don't have to spend a lot of time in post-production, which is something that I actually love. I can spend 1-2 days in the post-production. I just actually at work now is not just possible. So I had to learn how to optimize everything so it be quite quickly. So the time that I spend actually, doing the image itself was quickly, because I was so inspired. Like, I had this idea, I think that I'm gonna use the 3D London city model that we have, and then I knew that would be like a kind of cinematic light, a golden hour, and then the thing with that shot, if you look at that, I have my own crazy architectural building, integrate on the shot, and the model. Like, I'm not good at modeling. Like, I'm not good at modeling at all. So what I did, I was like playing with that model. When you like just draw some lines and then you apply a bunch of modifiers and things, and like you just stretching, and then
let's call it procedural.
Proceed. Oh, it's actually.
It's fancy.
I wish. Well, I wish, but it's not procedural at all. So then I put that architecture, that building that I create, very organic, very crazy. And then I was like, I'm not picky with what is this. That was like a station, but when I'm working, I try to. I'm not that picky. I'm more like, about the idea, the whole thing, rather than like, oh, I think this face here is not working properly. You're gonna have to spend like half an hour. That was more about, especially our external shot. That it's it's all about. You don't if you go like checking little things, you're never gonna finish that.
Yeah.
So then I put that building on the 3D on city model, and then that was okay. I'm gonna apply this, but I wasn't that confident. I was like, I give a go, and let's see. And then
you know what? Now that you're telling the story behind it, I remember when I saw your entry, I was like, at first I didn't understand. To be honest, I was like,
really?
what am I looking at? Right? But then when it hit me, I actually I felt like I was looking at a very modern version of Waterloo Station in London. Right, like, because it's huge, and it's like you don't actually know where you are once you leave the station. Like, I'm always lost when I leave Waterloo Station, and it was, for me at least, it was a station in the middle of London. It just clicked.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that what probably hit the judges, because it made sense.
Yeah.
And that's interesting, and you have the very dramatic sun on the background. You have it's the shard, right, that you're looking at. So you have the shard, and it's doing like that weird thing with the sun, and and it is London, but it's not the London we are used to seeing. So it's
like the London you see in films.
Oh, and not even in films. Come on, like. How many times have you seen a day like that in London, right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. So it it makes a lot of sense. It's fantastic, and at the same time, it's realistic, and in a way that
Yeah.
complement each other. It was quite interesting. I totally got it when I saw it among the winners. I was like, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. This is so interesting because one thought that I had in mind when I was creating the shot, I was like, everyone knows London. Everyone likes, this landmark. And then that was something that I had in mind because it's crazy. It's very, magical in a way, very, very, you don't understand at first, as on the first thing, as you say, but then you recognize, wait, this is London. I know that it's right. So that is quite good actually to know then.
Yeah, and I think that's what archviz is all about actually, because you may have this crazy design, and for example, this is a station, and it should blend with the city. It shouldn't just stand out and say, "Look at me." Forget about the city. I don't care about the urban fabric or whatever. Just look at me, and it's not happening here. Like it's blending in a way that I had to look twice to understand what I was looking at. And when it clicked, I was like, it works. And it works in the city. And as an architect, I'm always looking at things from that perspective. Like I want to see what works and what doesn't. And that's normally when people say that they're, doing some personal work and stuff. I always tell people, like, do something that is real. Don't just come up with something that wouldn't fit in the world, because that's the first step to get things wrong. Like, it won't come out good because it doesn't make sense. It has to make sense.
Yeah. This is crazy because as I was saying, I used to work a lot with external shot, and then I always had to kind of like merge photography with 3D. And then I become a kind of, very, I love this kind of thing. And then for me, like to merge was, of course, that was full CGI. So that helps. But I think when you work like in a project for a client, that's what happened. They want to show the main their project, and then especially when is in a really like city, let's say London or New York, you have like landmarks, important landmarks. Then you want to show that, and sometimes the clients, let's make the ghost building, let's make this very to pop up, and then that's what the thing that I now I tell myself, okay, this is not good, it's not nice, but it's the client, is paying, And then when I do this on my personal work.
Yeah, I totally understand you. I when I was still working in a studio, I used to do that. I was so frustrated with some images that I was doing there that I would bring them home and do my version.
Yeah.
Because I was so really frustrated. Yeah. A lot of images, I would do that. I would like, okay, let me save this, and I'll do my version at home, because I just can't stand having to do this. Such a potential, such an interest, and I have to come up with this. No, I'm doing my version, and I think that's what separates the artists from the button pushers, right?
Yeah, you start kind of like question yourself, like, wait, I'm not that good then. I'm just that's what I'm, because that's quite like it's normal, because you have the client, and the art director, they're guiding that, and then at some point you have a lot of comments and things, and then it becomes like a different thing from the beginning, and then but actually you do live in there, so you kind of like, wait, but that's not me, and then it's a bit frustrating in a way. And then I understand what you're saying, like when you go to sleep, you're like, wait, no, but I can do more than that.
Yeah, that's a healthy amount of frustration, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it pushes you forward. Like
Well,
you
yeah,
get
in a way.
frustrated and you want to do better, and because you know you can do better, and you just keep pushing
Yeah.
yourself because you know that maybe your daily job won't push yourself you that far, right? And then
Yeah,
you can push yourself further, and I think that's
indeed.
the best thing about being an archviz artist. Honestly, like we get to push ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wellington, I'd like to once again thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I know that you are a very busy lad, and thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you very much, Ricard. That's an honor for me. And then, yeah, I mean, I want to get the trophy, by the way, the CG.
Yeah, we have to see about that. Really, there's a
Yeah.
lot of logistics involved, but
All right.
we'll arrange something.
I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, don't
Maybe
worry.
like 3 years.
Don't worry, we'll do something. The pandemic was a very, very problematic period for us.
Yeah.
With all the things that we need to do in order to organize the awards, and coming up with the online version was the best thing we could do at the time. But you'll see, we will come up with
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
This
Thank-
year has
thank
a
you for
lot
the
of surprises
opportunity.
on hold still, and I
Yeah,
can't.
you promised me. You promised me like, oh no, this is gonna happen.
Yeah, it
Now
will.
I'm waiting.
It will. It will.
Yeah.
But I can't actually talk about it right now. But I can talk about
Yeah.
the 3D Student Awards that are actually running at this point, and we're going to have the online ceremony on June 26th, if nothing changes until then.
Nice.
So, and this is a specific for students. So, let's see what you guys come up with. And again, thank you guys for watching us, for taking your time to watch us and to join us in this very healthy and fun conversation. And we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.